Hello world, this is YernarProjects.com. We continue to talk about management of projects. Today we will define why project management is different from operations management. What are the necessary skills for project manager, risks, Gantt charts, and then we will examine purpose and advantages of work breakdown structure. All projects are temporary and undertaken to create a product, service or result that is unique. These two simple concepts create a work environment that mandates different management approach from that used by an operations manager, whose work is oriented toward continuous improvement of existing processes over longer periods of time. A project manager needs a different set of skills to both define and successfully execute temporary projects. Because projects are temporary, they have a defined beginning and end. Project managers must manage startup activities and project closeout activities. The process for developing teams, organizing work, and establishing priorities require a different set of knowledge and skills because members of the project management team recognize that it is temporary. The second characteristic of a project, the delivery of a unique product, service, or result, also changes the management approach to the work. A project manager must take time to understand the deliverables of a project, develop a plan for producing the deliverables in the time available, and then execute that plan. One way to improve understanding of project management is to contrast project management with operations management. Operations managers are process-focused, oriented toward capturing and standardizing improvement to work process and creating an organizational culture focused on the long-term goals of the organization. Project managers focus on the goals of the project. Project success is connected to achieving the project goals within the project timeline. Project managers are goal-directed and time-sensitive. Project managers apply project management tools and techniques to clearly define the project goals, develop an execution plan to meet those goals, and meet the milestones and end date of the project. Every project is unique, and most projects will encounter unexpected technical challenges. Each project management team is a group of individuals who need motivation and coordination. Planning is vital, but the ability to adapt to changes and work with people to overcome challenges is just as necessary. A project manager must master the skills that are necessary to be successful in this environment. Often, the difference between the project that succeeds and the project that fails is the leadership of a project manager. The leadership skills needed by the successful project manager include all the skills needed by operations managers of the organizations. These skills include good communication, team building, planning, expediting, motivating, and political sensitivity. Because project managers generally operate in a project environment that is more time-sensitive and goal-driven, the successful project manager requires additional project management skills. Credibility, creativity as a problem solver, tolerance for ambiguity, flexibility in management style, effectiveness in communicating. Risks exist on all projects. The role of the project management team is to understand the kinds and levels of risks on the project and then develop and implement plans to mitigate these risks. Risks represents the likelihood that an event will happen during the life of the project that will negatively affect the achievement of the project goals. The first step in developing a risk management plan involves identifying potential project risks. Some risks are easy to identify, such as the potential for a damaging storm in the Caribbean, and some are less obvious. Many industries or companies have risk checklists developed from past experience. The value of a checklist is the stimulation of discussion and thought about the potential risks on a project. The project team then analyzes the identified risks and estimates the likelihood of the risks occurring. The project team then develops a risk mitigation plan that reduces the likelihood of an event occurring or reduces the impact on the project if the event does occur. The risk management plan is integrated into the project execution plan, and mitigation activities are assigned to the appropriate project team member. The project risk plan reflects the risk profile of the project and balances the investment of the mitigation against the benefit for the project. One of the more common risk mitigation approaches is the use of contingency. Contingency is funds set aside by the project team to address unforeseen events. Project planning is an area that academics love to devote time to and project managers hate to mention. Why is this the case? There is a mistaken belief that time spent on planning is time taken away from doing. Gantt chart is a very popular tool used in project management planning. Gantt charts illustrate the start and finish dates of the terminal elements and the summary elements of a project. Terminal elements and summary elements comprise the work breakdown structure of the project. Gantt charts also show the dependency relationships between activities. Gantt charts can be used to show current schedule status using percent complete shadings and the vertical to-day line. The work breakdown structure for any project holds the critical components of breaking the project down into its detailed individual task steps. A project can be a daunting undertaking. Breaking the project up into a series of defined, smaller tasks can help us create a cohesive vision for the project, also making it easier to tackle. Put more simply, until a project has gone through work breakdown structure, it is impossible to determine the relationships among the various activities. Accurate scheduling can only begin with accurate and meaningful work breakdown structure. Work breakdown structures function as a method for breaking the project into bite-sized pieces in order to make sense of each step necessary to complete the overall project plan. When a project team is assigned a project, many times there is some natural discomfort over how to translate the project goal into a series of distinct steps in order to achieve it. For example, consider a simple case in which a student team is assigned a term paper and final presentation in a university class. As the team prepares to complete the assignment, one of the first steps in the process consists of breaking the task down into a series of subtasks, each of which can be allocated to a member or members of the student team. In this way, the overall project, consisting of a final paper and presentation, becomes easier to manage by reducing it to its simplest level. Work breakdown structures serve 6 main purposes. They echo their objectives. Given the mission of a project, work breakdown structure identifies the main work activities that will be necessary to accomplish this goal or set of goals. What gets mentioned in the work breakdown structure is what gets done on the project. There are the organization chart for the project. We often create organizational charts as a way to understand the structure of the firm. A work breakdown structure offers a similar logical structure for a project, identifying the key tasks that need attention, the various subtasks, and the logical flow from activity to activity. They create a logic we need for tracking costs, schedule, and performance specifications for each element in the project. All project activities that are identified in the work breakdown structure can now be given their own budgets and performance expectations. This is the first step in establishing a comprehensive method for project control. They may be used to communicate project status. Once tasks have been identified and responsibilities for achieving the task goals are set, we can determine which tasks are on track, which are critical and pending, and who is responsible for their status. They may be used to improve overall project communication. The work breakdown structure not only shows how to break the project into identifiable pieces, but how those pieces fit together in the overall scheme of development. As a result, team members become aware of how their component fits into a project, who is responsible for providing upstream work to them, and how their activities will affect later work. This, in turn, improves the motivation for communication within the project team in order to make activity transition as smooth as possible. They demonstrate how the project will be controlled. The general structure of the project demonstrates the key focus that project control will take on. For example, is the project based on creating a new product or improving a process within the firm? Either way, the work breakdown structure gives a logic to the approach we will adopt and the control methods that are most appropriate.